Three, let's go. Rock and roll.
Better quality. Oh, cool. It should be. Let's see.
Let's just other side. They don't interrupt them. And I just find your phone call. That's the most popular man in TV. It's a nice way of saying secretary.
He's looking for treasurer, you're looking for a quartermaster. Sorry about that. You can say that.
Good. Louder?
They are gonna do elections today.
Yeah.
Well, no, my apologies, everybody. Nomination.
Nominations today, elections next month.
Nomination. Okay.
You gotta open for a month.
Want to make sure this is which one, right?
Oh, there's
Matter of fact, March, we gotta do our nomination.
We're gonna start in a few minutes, we're just gonna pass around the minutes and then we'll go from there.
Can I get it?
Did you get the minutes?
No.
Go up there and ask them.
Give me that, I'll give you a piece of paper.
No,
They're gonna pass out some-
this is from yesterday.
Okay.
They're gonna
Or-
pass.
Or yesterday or Thursday or whenever.
Oh, he's got the agenda there, okay. Gotcha. No.
Yeah, I reuse paper. Then I throw it on the floor and start to go.
Yeah.
Do the nominees have to be here?
Everybody get
They have to accept.
They have to accept the form of voting. So if they're
So
not,
if they're not here, by the time you're voting, they must have
What's
a
this?
letter saying they accept the nomination.
Certainly. Call to order, meeting's called to order. When is this? This is last year, 24.
This was September.
September, this is in the future.
Joe,
Meeting, date and time.
27
27.
September 2025. Wow,
What kind of shit is that?
it should have been 2020.
Correction to the minutes.
Tanya. Tanya.
Yes.
A year is shipping 23.
No, we're working future.
Not there yet.
Get this?
No, but I can share with you.
You wanna take a copy? We got any more agendas?
Okay.
Oh, you're fine.
Did you ask them?
I think they're.
Baby girl, do you got any more agendas?
Live on good.
We're on also live on.
How do I look? I'll put that on.
I thought you turned that off.
I thought I did. Hey, Bob, I'll call you back on the meeting. No, I'm at Petaluma for the commission meeting.
Did you get an agenda?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll call you back.
Bye.
Who's here from the department?
Hmm?
Who's here from the department? Who's here from the department doing recruiting? Anybody?
Oh, Larry Lyons.
Is Larry?
10 hours. Friday, February 20th, 2025. Go ahead and please rise. Please rise.
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have a seat.
Okay. I'll fall back in the chair. You still?
Okay, let's go quick, attendance, VFW,
That's
American Legion. Here. MOPH.
Here.
BVA 668. Here. Third Marine Division Association. Here. US Air Force Association. Present. Navy League. Fleet Reserve Unit. Fleet Reserve. US 671, here, Garagata Veterans. Here. Yes, sir.
We have a call, 14 was called. The representative,
Yeah.
someone out to the table. please.
Everybody, we have 8 out of 10%, we have quorum, we can proceed. The only change on the, well, the acknowledgement of public notice, in accordance with government law, the notices both went out on the 23rd and 25th of February 2025. For the approval of the agenda, before we proceed, the only request I ask is we change the year at the header from 2025 to September 2024. Yeah. Okay. All right, if there are no discussions on the meeting minutes. Motion to approve. Okay.
second.
Second. Okay, moving forward, we are gonna go ahead and I'll pass it on to Mr. Rodriguez Augustine.
It's a written discussion and then you have to make the motion carry.
Okay. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Actually, I actually jumped ahead because number 5 is actually the approval of the agenda. So I jumped ahead on that one now. So today's agenda, there's no discussions on that one there. Let's see. In fact, today what we're trying to do is clarify the position with the most recent stepping down of Mr. Bill Cundiff, who was the previous chairman. We'll proceed with having nominations, proceed to unfinished business. We have an open discussion, then to announcements, deciding when the next meeting is going to be, and then we can adjourn. Are there any discussions with that, with this agenda? There's no discussions, motion to anybody, motion to approve.
Yeah, just update the Third Marine Division to reflect Vin Santiago and Pete Trinidad as Third Marine Division Association.
Let's go. Okay. If there are no further discussions, can I get a motion to approve the agenda, item number 5?
I move.
Second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Now the secretary's report. Again, I'll repeat it from changing it from September 2025 to September 24. You all I know some of you guys just received a copy of the meeting minutes of September of last year. Briefly scan through it. If there's no discussion,
I make a motion, we accept the minutes as amended.
as amended to reflect 2024 instead of 2025, motion to accept the minutes moved forward by VFW, Mr. Brian Brenda, any second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. I will now pass the discussion on because I am a sitting vice chairman, Mr. Jose, to have the open discussion on the hierarchy, all of the positions on the commission.
Thank you, Mr. Vice. Members and ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. At this time, I will like to have a motion to open discussion of the hierarchy. To open the discussion of hierarchy. Okay, moved by military order the birth of heart. I get a second motion.
Second.
Second by US Air Force. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. So at this time, just to let you all know that the sitting vice chair have been sworn in. The sitting treasurer, which is Mr. Chris Turan has also been sworn in. But that doesn't eliminate them from being renominated within this body. We're looking at if need to, that
Just, I believe Chris is secretary.
Yes,
That's correct.
I did it.
So for this afternoon, we're looking at nominations for the position of a chairman. First vice, second vice, and a secretary. Are there any concerns regarding the positions that are gonna be up for nominations?
Quick question, sir, but I believe in the past we used to have a treasurer, but of course, we never had any money, so I don't know if there's a purpose to continue to have a treasurer.
Okay, I request a motion if we.
I'd like for discussion. So, there is, funds that the commission is supposed to have available at an unappropriated type according to the chapter 67, but I don't know if we ever had a penny in there. So, but I just want to put that out that there actually was at least at one time a reason to have a treasurer and a treasurer's report, whether the term exists or whether we want to proceed with that. We have to discuss it.
I'd like to see that. Hopes to get better, or should get more involved. The majority get more involved than the amount of money that is being requested for our commission and what we want to do with it. I have a treasurer and then we don't have no place.
Motion to add the position of treasurer to the hierarchy.
Yeah, we're going. VFW, you have a,
I was just gonna say, I'll make a motion to add the treasurer onto the list hierarchy.
there's a motion to go ahead and add on the treasurer to the hierarchy.
Second,
So a second,
second.
okay, there's a second by the US Air Force. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Treasurer added on to the hierarchy. Any other discussion regarding the hierarchy? Sure.
Would it be possible to just have the secretary slash treasurer handle it? Being that, you don't have any funds to speak of.
Yeah, so. I'm on the committee.
Yeah, just-
Brian, I'm sorry.
Usually the secretary, which the bylaws changed it to adjutant, is appointed by the chairman because they're the two that need to work together the most. So it was never a voted on position for the secretary. It was assigned by the chairman. The ones you have on there adding the treasurer are the ones that are voted on. But the secretary slash adjutant is usually appointed by the chairman.
Last election, I know that we voted for the secretary. And you voted Chris Story. So I think, I don't know, I'm a little bit confused with your statement, because in the past, we always voted the secretary. I never seen the secretary since I sit on this table appointed. And I've been around.
No.
Nick, when I was the chairman of this commission, I appointed mine. We didn't have a vote for the adjutant.
The previous couple of years in the election, when we had the election.
I understand that Nick, it's been confusing because we've gone from one way back to another way to this person interprets it this way instead of following what the law states and what the bylaws state. And I understand, and it can be confusing, but we need to get it back on track so this works like it's supposed to work and it accomplishes things.
So there was a motion to accept the treasurer.
Right, and we already did that. I'm not stating that. I'm just stating the fact that by the bylaws and the way it was done, especially when I was there, you appointed your secretary slash adjutant.
Okay,
Okay, because
So there was a motion to pass the treasurer. So let's revisit the
Who's that after?
secretaries.
Who's that one? The treasurer?
Okay, so, yeah, we did.
Treasurer's good. Okay, so secretary now.
Okay, let's revisit the secretary. So the consensus coming from VFW is in the past, they went ahead and nominated or appointed their own secretary. Are we putting that up for a motion, Brian? That goes back to whoever the chair of the commission appoints their secretary?
I make a motion that the secretary/adjutant is appointed by the chairman. Because they're the two that have to work together.
Okay, so let me reiterate. There's a motion on the floor coming from VFW. The secretary/adjutant be appointed by the chair of the commission. Is that correct, Brian?
Yep.
Do I get a motion, a second on that motion, ladies and gentlemen? Anybody second? Okay, there's no second on the motion, okay?
Well,
Just a point of order here. There was a reference to bylaws. Where are the bylaws?
There's no bylaws, there's no bylaws.
There's no record of bylaws?
No bylaws.
Okay, I was gonna wait till the very end of this, but for discussion purposes, and since we're on the topic of bylaws, the commission asked me a while back to prepare some bylaws, and I've asked for bylaws and got kind of.
So, but for the meantime, because we do not have it. We do not.
You're absolutely correct.
We can apply to this discussion.
It doesn't,
Okay.
the only point I was gonna make is, at the end of this meeting, to commission members, I have a copy of a draft, underlined draft set of bylaws that later on we'll have some discussions at further meetings, but good case in point, we don't have any bylaws that we're looking at right now. There's something, and if there are prior bylaws that someone has, certainly that would be part of any future discussion, but this is at the end of the meeting or next meeting, we can look at
Yes,
this.
sir. Thank you for that. Okay, so at this point, there was a motion to allow the commission chair to appoint their own secretary. There was a motion, but it wasn't second. So at this time, it appears that it's not going nowhere unless you all wanna,
Also, yeah.
right? Motion fell. Okay.
no, just for further discussion. Everyone. I think it's okay, it's appropriate to go ahead and carry it on as it is because we had already elected and he was already sworn in, Mr. Chris Torres as the secretary.
Yeah.
Now, once we move forward, we address this new when you address the new bylaws, at that time, should we make it necessary to make the change to revert it back to an appointee from the chairman? Then we can also move forward and vote on that at that point.
Yeah.
But as it stands right now, he's already been elected by
Yeah.
everyone here in this board. He's sitting the secretary at the moment, because it was already elected, we'll let it carry as it is. And then once we adopt bylaws into the commission, we can make adjustments at that time.
Okay, so that motion fails. Okay, at this time, can I go ahead and get a motion to go ahead and close the discussion?
Sir, I think, if I may speak, representing the Veteran Affairs Office, because our office provides the administrative support to the commission, I think what also needs to be discussed among the commission is if you're now appointing to elect a treasurer, that person be independent from our office to provide the treasurer's report. Because everything right now is being channeled to the VA's office, the state office. And I don't think we should be commingling.
Okay,
For the funds.
yes,
Right,
sir. Point taken, yes. Okay, at this time, I request that we close the discussion for the hierarchy. Can I get a motion? Close?
I move.
Okay, moved by MOPH, second by VFW. Okay, at this time, members, I would like to call for nominations, for first nominations. I would like a motion to go ahead and open the floor for first nomination.
For chairman,
Motion
for
for,
chairman?
call for first nomination from.
Huh?
You don't need it now.
You open
That's all right.
I nominate Reagan Moya for chair.
No, no, not yet. Can I get a second yeah.
Huh?
Can I get a second motion to open? Okay, second by VFW. Okay, so this is called for first nomination for the chairman. At this time, we do have a vice.
All the officers, chairman, first vice chair, second vice chair, your treasurer, and then secretary.
You do chairman first, close it out. Then you go to first vice, close it out, then you go to second vice.
But
I don't-
your agenda, that doesn't provide the room for that.
Well, if he runs it the way he should, chairman, open nominations, any more nominations, close till next month. Then you go,
Okay, guys, I'll take it. Thank you. I know I started a lot, but no, just bear with me. We'll get through this. I thank you for your cooperation. Joe, thank you very much. Okay, at this time, the nominations, first nomination for chairman for the Guam Veterans Commission is open for nomination.
I nominate Reagan Moya.
Okay, nomination, Mr. Roy Gamboa for chairman. Are there any other nominations? And you can nominate yourself too.
I would like
Any
to.
other nominations for chairman for the Guam Veterans Commission? Okay, no other nominations. I request that I close the first nomination for chair. At this time, we're open for first nomination for the first vice. Any nominations for first vice? Purple Heart.
I nominate Joe Utar from the Vietnam veteran.
Okay, Mr. Joe Guitar from Vietnam Veterans for second vice.
First vice.
First vice.
For first vice.
is he here?
Sitting next
Mr. Joe
to,
Guitar.
sitting next.
Okay, need you.
Okay, any other nominations for first vice?
Excuse me, Joe. You need to ask if he accepts the nomination.
Did he accept?
Because you can't vote on somebody who doesn't accept the nomination.
Mr. Yatar, would you accept the nomination for first vice? Mr. Yatar accepts the nomination.
There you go.
Thank you for that, Brian. Any other nominations for first vice? Okay, at this time, nomination for first vice is closed. We'll go ahead and go with nominations for second vice. Are there any nominations for second vice?
Vince Santiago, third recommendation.
Mr. Vince Santiago has been nominated for second vice,
Okay,
president of the
that's good enough.
Marine Division Association. Mr. President, would you take the position of second vice for the Guam office?
Accept.
Okay, good enough.
Mr. Vince
Young
Santiago
blood.
will accept the position of second vice. Any other nominations for second vice? Okay, at this time, nominations for second vice is closed. At this time, we have nominations for secretary. We do have an existing secretary who's been sworn in, which is Mr. Chris Toran. Do we have any other nomination for secretary?
Well, I nominate Chris for
Okay,
secretary / adjutant.
so secretary /
Atchison.
yeah, that's it then. Oh, Mr. Brian Miranda, you accept?
I accept, right?
Okay. Mr. Chris Duran accepts the nomination as a secretary. Any other nomination? For secretary? Yeah, at this time, the nominations for secretary is closed. We'll go ahead and open up the nomination for treasurer. Nomination for treasurer. Mr. Di Francisco.
I nominate Mr. Salas from the Air Force.
I want to hold on that nomination.
We don't have any money, don't worry.
I apologize. I'm gonna hold on that nomination.
Okay, Mr. Salas was not nominated, but refused.
Declined.
Any other nominations for treasurer for the multi? For treasurer,
No,
Ryan Miranda nominated by 671.
no,
Decline.
Any other nominations?
Respect. Have a nice Jonathan.
Agree.
Greg, 1509.
Decline.
Greg from 1509 nominated by H. Greg declines. Nomination for treasurer.
Okay, Johnny,
That's from Barrett Bits.
no,
I decline.
You decline?
You can't hear so.
No, you can't. Sir.
you can move on and leave that open till next month.
Well, one last one, Mr. Martinez from Barrett Bits.
Mr. Muffness from Bragg Vet, are you willing to take the position as a treasurer for the Guam Veterans
Come on,
Commission?
soldier.
Well, if there's no money, I'll accept.
Believe me, there will be money back. There'll be money, trust me.
As a treasurer for the Guam Veterans Commission. At this time, we'll go ahead and close the nomination for treasurer.
I move to close all out nominations.
Okay. Move to close out first nominations by
Air Force.
Air Force Association. May I second that?
I second.
Second by the Military Order of the Purple Heart. Johnny, would you smoke break? No?
If you need a smoke break.
Don't worry, I'll take my smoke break.
Okay, members, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we'll go ahead and call to open second nominations for officers for the Guam Veterans Commission.
Close.
For motion to open for second nomination.
I'm sorry, I'm not tracking this.
Call for second nomination, yes. Yeah, so guys, the reason we're doing this is when we come back next month, we're just gonna go into election and then resume normal business. So next month, we're looking at having 2 meetings. And so what we want to do is get the nominations, the first and second out of the way, come back the 7th of March. And we'll do the elections and then go into regular business.
But by law, you can have the nominations and then do the election right after that nomination. That counts as your holding a month for nomination. Once that comes up, you go through the nominations, you have no more nominations, you then hold your elections at the same meeting.
Is there any restriction with regards to the way we're holding it now, right?
I move to close the first nominations as new movement. I moved twice. So close the nominations, table the second nominations for the next meeting to be included with the actual election. That's what I
So
moved.
there's a motion to close.
Second.
The first nomination.
Yes, second.
All right.
Close the first, move second to the next meeting and the election to the next meeting.
Whatever is said. Tanya, you got that?
Don't move.
I'm not the secretary.
I'm sorry.
He's sitting over there.
Okay, so we're gonna table the second nomination until the next meeting.
Right.
The
Can I
next,
get a
will be March.
second of the
Which
motion?
makes,
Second.
VFW? Opposed?
We can still round up some more.
Aye.
Opposed?
Yeah.
Hey, good job, man.
So if anybody needs to go back and listen to this entire meeting, it is streaming live on Governor's YouTube channel. The link is all on GOVA's Facebook, and Zoom is open right now, but it appears like nobody's online. So just letting everybody know that if we forget what we said, it is recorded live on Governor's YouTube.
oh, you mean I can be held accountable?
At this time, my part for nominations are done. I'll hand it back over to Mr. William Moore.
Thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, on, item number 8, under unfinished business. We were looking at discussing what the mission of the commission was going to be, and then also, the draft letter to the Department of Veterans Affairs. This was addressing the GAO report. I think what I'd like to do is include that mission, of course, as part of the bylaws. I want to go ahead and table that as well. And then the letter to the VA. Most of us have reviewed this letter. Just to touch on it for a second, the Government Accountability Office report came out last May, basically said they only estimate the number of veterans in Guam. We want to make sure that we put a very detailed letter presenting, to be able to present to the Department of Veterans Affairs, the Secretary of the VA, and then all the committee chairs in the Senate and the House. Up until we have a fully developed letter, I'll leave it tabled until after the nomination and election of the officers. That this way the officers, as well as the rest of the new commission members at that time can review potentially a final draft, the bylaws and everything like that. So at this point, continue to table those items under unfinished business. Okay. Moving on to item number 9, we have open discussion. The 3 topics are going to be the VA CBOC, the commission members, and the community participation. Under the CBOC.
Yeah, well, there's nobody there. Dr. McDermott is not on video, but before we go any further, guys, I apologize. I want to acknowledge the presence of Senator Sabrina Salas, our chairperson for the a representative from our Congress office, Congressman Monin's Mr. Bertadio, and in the back is Isaiah Alvin coming from
Senator Metzinani's office.
Senator Sabrina Salas Metzinani's office. And we have Jenna Lynn Posh, and you're coming from
Representing Senator Vince Borja.
Senator Vince Borja.
And Senator Jesloan.
Senator, wow, very nice. Thank you, and I apologize for not acknowledging you all.
Okay, in the past, we used to have the CBOC presence with Dr. McDermott. Hopefully we can re-engage Dr. McDermott in CBOC to give us their updates. I won't get into what's been discussed on the national level, whatever it may be, but there are some concerns that some of those budget cuts could be affecting the CBOC. Which is not good news to hear at all. You already know the CBOC is very small. Based on the numbers that the VA has provided, it was designed and built to service 5 to potentially 6 or 7,000 veterans on this island. Right. So we'll move on from that. Commission members. Okay, at this time, we currently have 10 commission members. We know that I think there was an open invitation at the convention for other veteran members that were out in the community to apply with the Guam Office of Veterans Affairs. I'm not sure, Joe, or if anybody has gone out after that, after the convention to seek membership.
How about the ones that have been seeking membership for 10 years?
Before we address that, because it's, I forgot to, mention Mayor Salas, who's always at our meetings each and every time. So with regards to your membership, that probably will be discussed on the second part of March
Point of order,
amongst the committee, commission members.
accordance with the public law, section 67107, under Guam's Veterans Commission, it says, commission membership, there is hereby established a Guam Veterans Commission which shall at a minimum be composed of 9 members. That's our minimum. So we could have more members. We could have more than 10.
Yes.
And it's comprised of 4 representatives from the retirees associations, and they've listed 4 associations in the law. 2 members from officially chartered chapters of multi-service veteran service organizations. And then 3 veteran members. That's the basic build up. And then you have your ex-official members.
No, that's.
Yep.
We'll,
We're good.
when that time comes, will be elaborated as the members discuss and share that with whoever the new member is gonna be.
So is that the response, the official response?
The official response coming from me is it appears that for any new members, it will be discussed amongst the commission members on the second portion of second March. Joe, when's the next meeting in March? The seventh, when's the other one? So we have two meetings that's happening in March, so we can try to catch up some of our.
Not the last Friday?
This is interesting.
Because in the August minutes, that's when we turned in our letter. And in the law, it only says we need to turn the letter in. And we also turned one into the governor's office, just in case it got lost again. And that was since August.
Yeah, so I got you, that's right.
So can I ask Third Marine Division, Mr. Santiago, did you just automatically just come in or? What was your process to come into the commission?
Well, we've always been part of it. Joe San Augustine was the previous president of the Division Association, and I was the vice. So we just switched office. I'm now the president. So Third Marine Division Association has already been part of the commission.
So did you send a letter saying that we're updating?
You've already been.
That's a minimum.
No, because we have to send a letter saying, hey, here are the new people that we'll be representing. There's a letter.
Yeah.
That just says two members.
I haven't received it yet, but
Here,
Okay, so
a
then-
maximum.
So then you don't have the letter.
I do not know.
But
Is there
you
a
said
point to
he-
this? Is there a point to this?
The
When we
point
get
is
together, let's just
that
get right
we've
to it.
been for 2 years denied access here. But yet they just get in.
They've been in for a long time, so I don't. agree
So
with that
my
premise.
issue
Law
is
needs to
they're
change.
supposed to do a letter if there's a change of officer.
That-
like Mr.
that's not
Alec
the
Turner did.
Organization's admission into this commission. That organization has been in this commission for a long time. You're a new admission, you have to go through the
No,
process.
no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when there's new officers who will sit as part of the commission for the organization, a new letter has to be sent. So
Right.
Chris said he didn't get it, but Mr. San Augustine said yes. So I don't know what the answer is.
I'm sure they'll give it to me.
Yeah, so the letter that,
Eventually,
so the letter, we're gonna close this out, guys, that the letter I got is coming from National. That reflects that change of leadership. And that's valid as it is.
So he got voted in, right, or nominated as an officer, but you still don't have the letter.
She does.
Does anyone see my point? Anyone? No?
It's a what about situation, and I don't subscribe to that personally. I believe you guys should absolutely have due process in order to be
And we don't.
moved into this. Absolutely, and it's overdue, I agree with that. Comparing to an existing organization, did they submit a letter to change one person for another? That's a what about, no, it has nothing to do with your particular issue, which I agree you have an issue, it's a valid one. But I still want to get mixed up in some other stuff, that's not a technicality. That doesn't apply in your situation.
But it's also a point.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, 21 March.
Okay, so our next meeting will be 7 March.
21 March.
Second meeting.
Meeting's over.
Election and the other one to Chris.
It'd be 21 and 28.
Sorry? 21 and 28?
The two meetings that we're having in March,
Okay,
is what we need to share with us.
okay, so what date would you like the meeting?
Right, just clarification, right, there needs to be at least a 1 month gap between the first and second nominations.
Right, so it should be the 28th of March. Should be your next meeting. You open nominations. Don't have any more, you close it and go right into voting. And you're covered by law on keeping your nominations open for a month.
28 March. First week of April.
Because I already got that in my phone.
Okay, I got it right. We already be.
28 March.
But after nominations and elections, then you could go into general business. Yep.
Yeah.
At this time, moving on, Senator, any of our guests that are here, if there's anything that you'd like to relate to this commission, means this is the time to address. Mr. Garcia, again, looks like you're standing up.
Oh, no, sorry, I think that's a photo.
Oh, you're gonna share something with us.
Oh.
I guess I'll just say that my office is located in the Guam legislature. If you would like to discuss, just give me a call there on a visit. I am working on the bills with the Guam Veterans Commission as a GOVA, and I anticipate introducing those bills next. That is
There is a problem.
including oil. Copy is going to be sent out and anybody else. Copy, give me the call. About this.
Your email, has that been resolved?
Yes, my email is back up and running. It was compromised a week ago, so if anybody emailed me last week, I did not get it.
Okay.
And my email is office.senator at longlegislatures.gov.
Or EE, or Senator Reed.
Not
Reed.
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 Be all right.
Be all right. Okay.
Yes, back to your point on which the vice chair made on just the question surrounding staffing reduction relative to VA services on island. I just want to let you guys know that the congressman has been reassured by the administration that staffing reductions will not impact public safety, national security, and access to veteran benefits or mission critical positions among federal agencies. He's in close contact, his office and his team is in close contact with the federal liaisons, making sure that Guam doesn't lose any critical positions relative to veteran access to services. One that was reassured and is ongoing right now is the position at the Guam Vet Center. We were told that it's going to be a local hire, so that person is going to have ties to Guam and make sure that he understands the climate and things for Guam veterans. Another thing is our office asked the VA directly through a letter to the Secretary of the VA to look into third-party administration issues wherein Tri-West was severely delayed in reimbursing some of the medical providers on island. We urged them that, we need timely payments to these providers because Guam itself has already a lack of specialists, and to delay that is denying veterans access to the little to none medical services available. So they're looking into that. More information is to come, and we will provide updates on when it becomes available. And lastly, our last ask was for them to look into a director position of the VA that is here natively, because we think if the employees of the VA has someone who they directly report to that is stationed out here, that we can kind of get them more accountable to their positions and their responsibilities to veterans on island.
So I think just open discussion here is, with the length of travel to Hawaii, let's see if we can ask him to push the Secretary of the VA to give us access to the Philippines VA system. That at least on the medical side. Reason being is a lot of our veterans avoid traveling all the way to Hawaii. We've got heart issues, whatever, you name it.
Mhm.
A lot of veterans don't want to go on that lengthy trip. And if they're admitted to either hospital, any hospital out there, if they have a non-medical attendant, they're out to get a hotel stay on their own.
Right.
So if there's any additional ask and if there's any room, it's at least giving the veterans in Guam the option to choose the Philippines VA medical system as a place for treatment. It'll be a lot easier for us to probably get together, get a condo, rent it all the time, so that when we travel over there, our veterans and their families can stay in a condo while they're getting their service. So that's one of the asks that I think we're gonna be putting forward also to the Secretary of the VA.
On that topic, it's my understanding that some of the outer islands last spring, under their new compact free association with the United States, have been brought in as equivalent to being the stateside veterans, such as FSSM, Palau, Yap, Solomon Islands. I've also heard arguments that there, or the discussions that there was, they were thinking about sending those people to the Philippines under the region office in the Philippines.
I believe that was done during COVID, because of the restrictions coming into Guam.
No, that was last year.
Last year, but someone mentioned to me that during COVID, a lot of them were routed to the
No,
Philippines.
this is back then, during COVID, they were foreign medical.
Okay.
Now they are stateside medical, like we are in CNMI and everybody in the 50 states. So, and I don't know if they've come up with where they're going to be seen for treatment. What I would like to see happen is that they come up here if we could provide the proper service to keep the money in the United States. If not, then they go to the Philippines. And our veterans here on Guam and CNMI see our doctors here if they can provide the services. And if they can't, if we're going to send the other islands down to the Philippines, we should be able to send our people down also. Take that argument and knit it together with the new ones.
Understood. So just real quickly, what we drafted in that letter was, 4 simple requests, and I'll touch on it very like, number one, conduct an actual count of veterans in Guam, CNMI, allow, right, a physical count. If they don't want to take the time to do it, then accept the state office's number. And that number is the 24,000 veterans is what they counted at their office. So that's number one. Number two is adjust the budget accordingly based on the total number of veterans in the islands, especially starting with Guam and Saipan. If you adjust that budget based on the count and the budget, the third request is going to be bring the facilities that you would give to a similar sized community in the States. For comparison, I looked up the city of Palo Alto. Palo Alto has one of the most beautiful medical treatment facilities in all of the VA systems. They service 25,000 veterans. So with those numbers right there being said, we should rate almost the same thing that they have in Palo Alto. Yet we're still, you know, as of today, we're still the second lowest funded VA in the country. That was number three, is bring the facilities, bring the doctors out here. The number four was going to be that collaboration with the Philippines in dire situations. A 3-hour trip is a lot better than trying to force
7
8 hours.
7.
So those are the simple asks. I mean, it's gonna come in full detail, but those are generally what we put together as a draft. Count, do an actual count, right? But
That's great and everything going to the Philippines. If you ever, in your wildest dreams, that VA is gonna approve that, because then they just went out and stated, we can't supply our own people in Guam, so we're gonna send them to a foreign country. I know that sounds harsh and everything, but that's the reality of it, gentlemen. VA, they approve us to go to the Philippines. They have come out and said, we cannot help our veterans in Guam. That's plain and simple, guys. You can try all you want and they'll give you lip service, but they're never gonna approve that. I'm sorry, that's way of life and
It behoves us to follow through and see what they're doing with the outer islands. That just I believe it was last May when President Biden signed the Compact of Free Association, which brought them in, giving them the same treatment as what we have. We need to follow that and see which way it goes.
understood. And so once we get through the next couple of months and we put this draft together, this will probably be the very first letter that I think this commission has ever sent all the way up to Secretary of the VA. This way, we're not sending it just to Hawaii and saying, hey, can you guys help us out? It's, if we need to hand deliver it straight to the Secretary of the VA and all the committee chairs in the House and the Senate, by all means, we'll find a way to get it into their hands so they do actually listen to what we say. Sorry about that. Chris Torren, in December, brought the American Legion national president, I believe, and a couple of his members. We had a meeting in this room and they were 100% behind that ask. And they would commit a letter to supporting our notion to, at least the first three was what I shared with him. Make an actual count, adjust the budget and bring the services, the facilities here to Guam.
Agreed.
So American Legion is already ready to get behind that. I think the VFW is another ask that we can go ahead and put together MOPs And I'm talking about the National Veterans Associations. If we can reach out to them, third market, if we can get the national president. It's one thing if, okay, it's just locals from Guam that are asking for this, but if we can get the national support, their lobbying efforts, that'll help us out here.
Okay.
Sorry.
Coordinate with me for VFW. I am the department service officer.
Okay.
So I'm on the department management team.
Awesome. So
We can run it that way.
We're doing an announcement,
yeah, let's go to move on to it.
on discussion, regular discussion.
Yep.
I got the congressman's office is here. I got quite a few that I like to bring up to go over and this commission. Number one, I'd like to hear what's happening with the $14 million grant. If it's true, if not, what's happening? Do you have any update on that?
Yeah, we'll discuss that on the next meeting as soon as I brief the boss.
Okay.
What's going on?
That's fair. Okay, the other thing is, how are we doing with public law 37-100 and 101?
I just submitted a reply back, I just replied back to Mr. Senator San Augustine.
Okay, have we hired anybody? from
No,
that?
we haven't hired anybody.
Have we, there's some specification questions regarding the position. Have you checked in with DOE as far as what the specification
Yeah, so-
requires to hire?
Yeah, so there's movement on that, just to let you all know, because it's not on the agenda, but we're looking at around May, June timeframe, that we're able to start seeing veteran service reps, veterans, cemetery workers, and also customer service reps, to include a vehicle for the medical liaison, probably around June, July timeframe.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
CBOC, I know you mentioned CBOC not here. There's a lot of veterans that have situations or challenges with CBOC. The other part of that is a care in the community. How many of the veterans in here is aware of that caring community?
I have the number if somebody needs it, and they respond.
Yes, they do.
Because the reason why I bring that up is CBOC and the care they're a VA organization, right? They get their money from VA. One's a marketing rep, the other one's a clinic. And what you hear from both entities is that they're not talking to each other. Everything gets lost.
So that's a little bit of what Mr. Bargali was talking about, sir, about the timely payments from TriWest. From my personal experience and talking with some of these doctors in the community, it's taking them 120 days or more to get paid. So a lot of them were turning away veterans because they weren't getting paid in time.
Yeah.
So if they can get paid, this is what I've been told, if they can get paid in a timely manner, just like everybody else in the country does, they wouldn't have a problem. They'll continue to see us. So when it first came out, a lot of us were happy. Good, I can see my doctor out in the public, his attention to me and so on and so forth. He bills the VA, but then it takes him 3-4 months before he can finally get paid. That puts a burden on his staff because he's relying on that funding.
Okay.
So that's what the congressman's office is trying to work on.
Story time.
Is that current information not being paid, or is that about 3 years old information?
That's about 2 years ago, yeah.
Okay. About actually almost 4 years now. 4 years ago, TriWest contract was expired. And for almost a year, the VA fumbled around and screwed around with the system and changed the program, like, I think it's 3 or 4 times, different forms, what have you, and a lot of docs weren't getting properly paid. Some of them dropped totally out of the system. I don't think that's an issue today. But it was a real issue, and we lost some docs. We didn't have a urologist on this island
So it's hard
for 3 years. They are back now because they've moved over to the GRMC, and GRMC's doing the billing, so they don't have to deal with it.
Okay, so
We can push it back out again.
if I may ask, who's following up? Who's working on that? Is there anybody, the commission or GOVA tracking that? Anybody following that? Our situation here? Because if we're not following any of that stuff, there's no sense to have a meeting. You know, I mean, our veterans are always to confront situations. whether it's medical benefit or whatever, somebody needs to be, maybe appointed COVA that this is your job.
Yeah, so between
So the
myself,
next meeting, we're gonna present it to the commission.
yeah, so between myself and the office of the congressman, we'll work it out. I've been tracking it somewhere, but I'll tell you what, it's a wild card because not even CBOC is able to provide me who all the community care providers are. It's changed a lot too. Not to mention the ones that decided to opt out. We do track. We do paid.
Okay, that's
I
fair.
know.
I just wanted to, mention that someone needs to keep tabs on that. Because we can't be having commission meetings and this important issues are coming up and there's no answers. That needs to be tracked because it's very important. You hear about people wanting to get medevac, right? So let me go on with some of the questions that the concerns that I have. DD 214s. Can you address the difference between a DD 214 active duty and the DD 214 guard reserve?
Sure, I'll have Tanya do that.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you were called to Title 10 or even Title 32 order, even if you're in the guard, that would be considered an active duty period, and you could, based on a certain amount of time, you could get issued a DD 214. The National Guard's equivalent of a DD 214, which is not active, not under Title 10 or Title 32, would be an NGB 22.
Right. Okay. Got it.
So
Can I update on that? Guard is now issuing DD 214s.
Yep.
So that's.
Since 2016.
Instead of
DD 14.
NGB 22s?
Yeah, they stopped doing that because of the confusion when it comes to benefits, things like that.
So-
Status, yeah.
That's even a problem on the VA side, right? Because the VA will, because I have a veteran, and of course I won't share his name because of privacy. He retired in the Guard under Title 32 all the way. So he was NGR his entire service. He did a deployment to Afghanistan in, what was that, 0506? Was that the time frame? 0506. We filed for his claim after he retired. Okay, mind you, this is active Guard and reserve. And the VA only recognized his service to Afghanistan from 05 to 06. So as you can imagine, that is a huge slap to his face, right? Because majority of his conditions were, a lot of them came from the war, but it was also after. So it took some time for the VA to change that and for him to get what he is, deserving of receiving. And he's satisfied with his percentage now, but it took a lot of fighting with the VA. So I'm really happy to hear that the Guard, went away in issuing NGB 22s for that purpose, because it really is confusing. And again, for lack of a better term, a slap in the face, a kick in the gut to all of you who serve.
Okay.
So
So a DD 214 now is, since April, since 2016. That So when you look at the benefit, if you're not 100%, you're pretty much, you might not be able to get a medevac. Because, when you're active duty, you're all right. But when you look at the Guard and Reserve, because, you're not 100%, so what do you do with the veteran? Where do you send them?
Are you speaking?
If they're service connected, yes, they are medevac. Service connected.
I beg to differ. You need to, you really need to look at that JTR, because that's the driving abuse. If you say it's server connected, but you're not 100%, you still have the issue of now what? Then, that's the kind of things that we probably should be bringing up here. Because the congressman office is here. You can say, okay.
Let's table this until we get further clarification.
I have a question before we table, if you don't mind. When you say medvac, VA does not medvac. They buy you a ticket and put you on a commercial airline. Medvac are retirees going through TRICARE. So are we confusing TRICARE with VA?
TriWest.
TriWest, I mean, yeah, TriWest versus the VA?
I'm not gonna have for discussion.
Yeah.
That's the problem. We're talking about, medical medevacs. What is the normal veteran? What are you entitled to? What are you gonna get? That should be our discussion here, and we need to let the commission know so that they can open up to the congressman's office and says, this is what's happening.
Okay.
There's a person that needs to be medevac is only 10%.
We don't VA does not medevac.
It's the same thing. Even if the VA has to contract Delta, you still need to factor in that. Hey, it's only 10%. Can you do that?
So there is travel allowance.
Can you do that?
There is travel allowance for scheduled appointments for VA or for care at a VA medical facility or authorized VA healthcare facility. And all of that gets done through Benny Travel.
Okay, I even have that.
If I may.
Any travel, but anyways.
Or the VA, the
But,
VA.
you know,
will-
okay.
All right.
Let's table this for the time being.
Yes.
Decided.
Moving along.
Let's meet on site.
Meet outside, March 28th is the next meeting, and get a motion to adjourn.
Wait a second. I thought that this, we had an agenda item for, community participation.
Yeah.
I don't think we were done with that agenda item.
It's ready to go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Appreciate it.
I'd like to just make a point that we have to have a time limit here.
Yes.
So if you can limit your piece to maybe 5
Sure.
minutes,
Yeah,
then
sure.
that would help.
Sure, I will. My name's Eddie Regis. I'm a U.S. Air Force veteran. I attended a couple of commission meetings before. I sent an email to the chair, to the GOVA director in October, requesting to be added to the agenda. I'm not sure what the process is as far as getting on the agenda to present any issues. But I have copies of other correspondence that I have sent to GOVA and to the chair that I would like to submit as a matter of record. Not here to impede the progress of the commission. I'm here as an individual in the community that wants to help. I fully agree with the comment that there's other people in the community, especially veterans, that want to support the mission of the commission. And for you, those of you that don't know me, I was the director of the military buildup. I was the deputy director of Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center. And I do the transcription for the Health Professional Licensing Office boards, which is the medical board, the nursing board, and so forth. I'm very familiar with government meetings. I worked in NATO and international meetings. I'm very familiar with the meeting process, okay? So the point the gentleman was raised earlier about addressing issues. One of the things that the HPLO does, the Health Professional Licensing Office does, is they assign a commission member and they invite some members of the community to help assist, address issues of concern of the commission. So that somebody can forward a recommendation to the commission that's vetted through a small group of people that can submit recommendations for a decision, so it could get added to the agenda, okay? So there was a meeting in December, which was the when the VA was here on the outlying areas and FAS. And it was very important to be at that meeting. Unfortunately, I didn't see anyone really from the commission at that meeting. I did see Mr. Sinowski at that meeting, but that was really an opportunity for the commission to present a formal statement at that particular meeting. Okay. I took it upon myself, along with some others, to make some statements and recommendations to that commission, and I thought it was very important to do that. I know that the chair has on the agenda to address the response to the GAO report. I took time and effort with the Veterans Task Force, which comprises of a bunch of volunteers, and we actually put together a paper and a proposed response to the GAO findings. Not that it's going to be accepted, but it should at least go through a process where it's reviewed, modified, and submit a formal document to the VA. Personally, I question the fact of the commission writing directly to the VA secretary, because this commission is mandated by the government of Guam, and there's got to be a formal process. We have the congressman's representative, we have the governor that carry a lot of power. And if we had all the organizations supporting a letter of support for what is being submitted, that's vetted through this commission, I think you'll have greater strength in the proposal. So with that being said, I would like to submit all my correspondence that I have sent to the chair or the vice chair and Mr. St. Augustine, and to the governor, which includes a meeting with the governor and the lieutenant governor as to what we discussed. So with that, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Never mind, I raised my hand, nobody acknowledged me, so never mind. That cowboy's got it again.
There's quite a few things that I have, but we can table this for the next. But I wanted to bring up for the GOVA. On your SOP, is your SOP current, or have you updated it, or is there anything that's a concern regarding your operation?
We probably need to do an update, the OPA is going to our office right now.
Okay, because when I read your SOP, it seems that you have a deputy down there. Is that how you function?
No, there's no deputy.
Okay, so you might want to look at your SOP, because the SOP has kind of like a second man to when you're there, you're not, when you're gone, that person is responsible.
It would be nice to have one, right?
Yeah,
I don't
so,
have.
but yeah, you might want to look at that, because that's SOP for your operation.
Probably a recommendation for the operation.
Yeah, I think that's kind of important. When you factor in the law, there's a lot, the law needs to be worked as well. There's a lot of inconsistency needs to be done. And lastly, and lastly, I noticed that you might have a safety issue down at your office. With you introduced the good senator here down in your office, and you did a walk around, and as a matter of fact, one of your staff was mentioning about the large amount of storage boxes that are around there that you can fold and injure one of your employees. That's a record management process. That's a documentation process. If I may, you might want to take a look at the existing laws and look at your storage. Because some of those paperwork that you have probably, right, they're not archivable. In other words, it might be 2 years and then destroy it, right? But if you have live records, right? Medical records, death records, those are archivable, those are live records. Your financial records, after the audit, you can get rid of it. Okay, so just to save you save you time and not interview people. You might want to purge that, maybe, I mean, we have high-tech stuff right now, we can either microfiche it, you know. And get rid of storage, or we can picture all the documentation that you have. But you need to look at the laws that covers your, what you have. Okay, because that would really kind of like give you, you know, as a director, right, to do what is that, to help out your veteran. Because that's, I think if you're a veteran that walk down to your office and say, you know, I'd like to apply for a benefit that, you know, I'm getting, you know, the service that I'm supposed to get.
Point well taken, sir.
But just
Close it, and I thank you. Thank you for the input, everyone.
Oh, one more input from Senator.
Thank you so much.
Senator, I'd like for us to go ahead and close it. I apologize. Mr. Chairman, your call.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, real short. First of all, I know that the director is a very busy man. But I tell you, I've sent 4 requests to your office, Mr. Director, asking for some very simple answers. And I don't get as much as an acknowledgement of receipt of email. Now, one of the questions that I've asked is, where are we in the requirements to meet the requirements for the cemetery expansion? I was listening to the Zoom on the way down, and I guess you've tabled that. But if I'm correct, the next milestone is to get the RFP out for an A&E. I've dug around, and my understanding is that RFP is in the process of being formulated and being sent out. Is that correct?
That is correct. Anything else from there?
That's fine. No, and I don't want any, because that's a critical milestone.
Correct, yes.
Right? Now, the question is, of course, are we gonna get things rolling to be able to meet the deadline for the next milestone? But I had to go and dig for that information. I couldn't find out anything from your office. The second question that I have posed in 4 separate emails dating back to August is, who are the duly appointed members of this commission? After about 3 follow-ups, the response I got was American Legion is on it, Purple Heart is on it. But I don't think that's the way, I don't think that was the appropriate answer. The appropriate answer was that who from American Legion is duly appointed to sit on here? Who from Purple Heart is duly appointed to sit on here? And secondly, is their tenure up? Because these are tenured positions, correct? I haven't been able to get that answer. So I really hope you take the time. I mean, if you're just blowing off these questions, then my God, I hope you're not doing the same when a veteran comes up with a question that's really important to him.
Sir, I'll get you that.
Thank you. But, you know, it just gets very frustrating. And the thought of even sending out a FOIA to get that information crossed my mind, but I don't want to do that because that's a hostile action. And secondly, mansamoruhit inisita na FOIA information. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, before we adjourn, the next meeting has been decided is March 28th. I will do 1,500 hours in place. Get a motion to adjourn. Second. Commission members. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.
That's pretty should be.
Chris, how do we play at the commission? I would like.
Just tell them.
I would like.
Yeah.